Hi everyone, great to see this big interest around data management and cloud strategies. I want to start with saying thank you for investing your time in this session, and also thank you to Hyperight for inviting me to this event. So my name is Rahm-Nilzon, and I'm heading up our Cloud Center of Excellence at Volvo Group Connected Solutions. And today I was thinking to talk about who we are and what approach or strategies we have chosen to bring our services to the cloud. The Volvo Group's mission is to drive prosperity through transport solutions and infrastructure solutions. And that is also what Connected Solution is providing. So, Volvo Group Connected Solutions are in the middle of this great shift that happens in the automotive business today. Software is changing the landscape and is key enabler to autonomous systems, electromobility, and connectivity services. The automotive business needs to find new revenue streams, of course, and the software is helping us to do so, and also to create those services of tomorrow. We at Connected Solutions are the enabler for those areas where we support a lot in the automotive and automation and electromobility. And those new businesses put great demands on our deliveries, both in uptime, but also, of course, in data management and how much data we produce. So to get a little grasp of what we are doing, we are connecting more than 1 million connected customer assets today. And in our landscape, we have 40 contributing DevOps teams that are responsible for our services. And those 40 teams has handled the lifecycle for over 200 microservices that we combined into different connected services. And then we talk about like fuel efficiency, geofencing, zone management, iShift, driver scores, and predictive maintenance, of course. We are doing approximately 100 deploys per day into our different services and different environments. And we are gathering close to 8 terabytes of data from our vehicles every day. The incoming traffic to our platform is over 1,500 messages per second, and we have peaks around 3,000 messages per second. But what we can see today, this is just the beginning. Our customers out there demand more data, both when it comes to accuracy, like frequent tracking, so they can keep track of their vehicles, but also in terms of other media types, like sound and video and those kind of medias. And you can, of course, imagine how that will affect our platform if we today gathering this kind of data more or less only in text to put on live streams or video or sound as well. It will increase a lot, and we need a really scalable platform. So at the moment, what we know today, at least, we are looking at more than tenfold the amount of data we see today within maybe 3 to 5 years, something like that. But if we start from the beginning then, back in the days when we started this so-called cloud journey that we called it back then, we had a couple of monolith applications that we were driving towards our business areas within the Volvo Group. And our main concerns back then was that we was not able to get the infrastructure in place. We were really good at producing code, new features, but we gather everything in quarterly deploys. And the infrastructure just didn't keep up, so we constantly grow out the existing infrastructure. And to be able to gain speed, to actually be in this connectivity space and how much demands we have on our business, we really wanted to get more speed into our deliveries and get our code out of the door instead of gathering dust on the shelves. We also wanted to minimize risks of disturbance when we did those big bang releases. So instead of doing this gathering of code and put it out in production every quarter, we was thinking of do smaller increments instead and do it more often, more frequent. So we took what we had, a couple of monolith deliveries, and divided it into those microservices that I was talking about before. And we saw, of course, that all those monolith applications that we had some parts in common. So we created a platform layer of those microservices, which every solution could use. And when we did that, we looked into how could we group this in some way? How can we put it all together in deliveries? And we created this concept of domains that we have done. And the domain is, of course, our DevOps teams then. So a domain is a certain area where we should be around 8 to 10 people. And of course, certain domains was not able to keep that small. So when we scaled, we just created another team and so forth to scale. But still keep the domain and keep the knowledge in the domain. And we also saw that we should gather all competences like coding, operations, testing, and also security, of course, needs to be in here, and also keep track of our data inside this domain. We also put demands on have everything in continuous integration and continuous deployment, so all processes and all things we did could be repeatable. And we also, of course, our vehicles are operating all over the world, so that means that we also need to be able to deliver our services all over the world. So that was the concept when we started. And we did all this to gain speed. With this approach, we quickly were able to move to the cloud and create a platform with various services that quickly could adapt due to the short development cycle of coding, testing, and then spawn up the needed infrastructure into the cloud. We divided our monolith application to microservices, and we also divided all the data. So we created an arena where we could focus on building what differentiates us from the competition, get speed and time to market by letting our teams move fast, and of course always focus on security to make us stay secure. The only way of doing this was to go to the cloud with our cloud-first strategy. So typically then business and IT are aiming for different targets. Business often wants ideas, speed and results. And on the other hand, we have IT that want a reliable environment that is cost optimized and secure. And we wanted to move this closer to each other. And on the business side, we invested in understanding our customers. And on the IT side, we automated as much as possible to get that repeatable processes into our deliveries. And it also made us to get a reliable and secure environment, since we can automate a lot around the security as well. So the first step here was to optimize for getting the code out to production where it creates value for our customers. When we then had moved to the cloud, we started a second wave, you can call it. And here we was not so focusing on speed. We already gained a lot of speed. As I mentioned, we do a numerous of deploys per day. We are quick, but we also saw that when we did this, we took with us a lot of governance models and become a little bit too rigid in our approach. So central teams in our landscape become bottlenecks instead, since all the development team demanded more and more and more. So in this second wave then, we was all about innovation and ownership of your service. And we wanted the teams themselves to focus on their services and what could be optimized for their services with that in mind, and how to utilize all the cutting edge technologies that is already out there, and the public cloud providers investing heavily into to develop. So we want to be able to easily move to that new technology and get that into our deliveries as well. So now we have managed to go from a centralized to decentralized decision making, and also get innovation into each team, since they are operational of their service. And we also wanted to use managed services as much as possible, where it doesn't differentiate us from our competitors. And we want the team or service owner to take fully financial ownership of their service. So why do we want to change something that was already fast and reliable? Yeah, well, we think we could still keep that by continues to use our tooling that we already have developed, by using our repeatable processes, but also introduce more advanced technologies within the technology. And with that technology, we could both optimize what we have today and create the services of tomorrow. Instead of having one appointed skilled team that doing all the R&D or analytics or innovation, we want everyone in our landscape to get that possibility to innovate around their own service, so to speak. And in the cloud, we could put each services into separate accounts to be able to have your own life cycle. And if you do things that didn't work that well, you could be quite secure that you don't interfere with other services. So with that, you will be able to reduce the blast radius. And with blast radius, I mean, if you think about a big database hotel, for instance, and something went wrong with that hotel, well, yeah, then everything, all services that it utilize that hotel will more or less be broken or have issues. If you instead could take your own service, have your own separated data source, and be independent towards other services, yeah, if something breaks, then it's your service that breaks, but not the other services, and we can still provide services out to our customers even if just that particular feature might be broken down. And your team will also be able to introduce new technologies and play out with those new technologies and take some risks when it comes to this, because they can do that without the risk of interfering other team services. So this together then will create what we call technology freedom. It will create a clear operating model, what you're responsible, where your responsibilities lies and where others' responsibility lies, and where you can get support. And also a very clear financial ownership, which we also was after. So then of course, when it comes to innovate on the big scale, we still want to do that. We still want the analytics teams to be innovative. We want the R&D teams to be able to play out with data and so forth. So of course, in this scattered landscape that we have created, we also make the teams to populate our data lake then with data as well. So the analytics can run algorithms and stuff like that for the complete organization, or get queries out that could combine different services and so forth. So that is also a possibility, of course. But we want the innovation to be more spread on more people in our landscape. So we created a cloud center of excellence for driving this enablement, that we call it. We are doing this by enabling team to the new accounts, get best practices into their day-to-day work. And that is more or less the mission that we at the Cloud Center of Excellence have. Here are some other definitions from people who have implemented Cloud Center of Excellence in other places. But we can see the common part in this is to bring best practices into what you're doing, from around cloud architecture, cost optimization, security strategy, and automation, of course. And we're also helping the teams to understand all the good technologies that the cloud providers provide, and ask them if they could optimize the service with this new technology by exchanging some bits and pieces here and there. And also working as an evangelist within our organization to promote what you can do with your data and what you can do with the technology and those kind of things. But it's not all about technology, of course. We need to look into numerous aspects when we do this DevOps change, the culture around that, move into the cloud and do this repeatable steps by code, where people before have been doing this manually and work with checklists and whatever we have been up to before. So it's crucial to remember when we do this journey, and when we the technology is just a small piece of the transformation. We need to take in account all the other aspects as well. So how does your organization look like? What are the company values, and do they support this transformation, or do we need to adjust something around that? How can your leaders help evangelize this transformation? They are a super important part in this transformation. And which roles and skills do your company need going forward? What does the future look like, and how can we transform your already existing workforce to be on this journey and to take on some new skills when moving forward, because I strongly believe that competence today is super critical for all companies, and a lot of companies is looking for kind of the same skill sets, no matter what verticals you are in. If you're automotive or telco or whatever, healthcare, you still want the software to help you out, and you need those individuals that could go those extra miles to work with their own skill sets and adapt. And it's very expensive to hire a new workforce, so definitely invest in your already existing workforce and train them to be on this path. So with that, I can summarize this talk by saying it's a very, very big change of doing this, and you have a lot of things to think through when you do this, both moving to the cloud, how to leverage your data, how can you get access to the people that could do magic with that data, how about security, and not the least, all the regulations and legal aspects that is happening today around your data. But it's also a super exciting journey to be on, and it's super great for our business. So I will leave you with those words, and I will try to look into the chat and see if we have any questions there and try to answer them. So with that, I will say thank you so much for listening to this talk. Please connect both in the Agorify app or on LinkedIn. You can find me there if you just search on my name. I'm happy to have discussions around this topic further on with you guys. So have a great day, and thank you so much. Bye-bye.